right, everybody, back with a brand new Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesday. I want to share with you why your stubborn body fat is acting as a buffer and not something that's trying to harm you. So many people are told by their coaches, personal trainers, doctors, or maybe other individuals where they have the best intentions for you, or maybe you as a practitioner towards your client, but you're missing something deeper. Not every client is simply able to lower their calories or exercise more and burn off the body fat. Some people have what looks like, and I'm putting this in air quotes, a slower metabolism, not because their metabolism is necessarily born slow, but actually the body fat is acting as a buffer for the body. So conventional medicine is just starting to see this and just starting to understand this. But the body fat, your adipose tissue, I'll call it both during this video, is acting as a biological entity. It is its own biology. It has its own interaction with your hormones, with the interstitial milieu, that's basically all the fluid around it. It works with immune-based signaling and detoxification. This is extremely important because sometimes fat isn't the problem, it's the solution for our body. And how does that make sense? It's this, is that when your body is loaded with things like inflammatory cytokines. Now, the inflammatory cytokines might be coming from leaky gut, which again, conventional medicine just started to believe in a decade ago, even though it's always been real, right? Or you might have viral-based issues. There might be a greater amount of lipid peroxides, oxidized-based cholesterol in the body, higher levels of endogenous, so your own internal estrogen production, or environmental-based estrogens that are coming into our body that we're learning more about from microplastics, etc. Could be from elevated levels of stress and cortisol in the body, or environmental toxins that we are going to talk about here today that I really want you to take to heart, because these volatile organic compounds, as well as fat-soluble chemicals, what happens is when they're in the body and the liver can't keep up and the kidneys can't keep up, what happens is this: the body needs a place to get it out of the bloodstream, and it puts it in the fat-soluble tissue, the adipose tissue. And it does this and it locks it away and it stores it away. And your body knows if there's already inflammation in your body, if it were to break down more fat, it would cause a slew of greater amount of cytokines and inflammation in the body, because the body would then need to clean up all of the chemicals that it's been storing away in the body fat and brain. Why this is important is that people will test for oftentimes months or years high on certain chemicals. There's even a UFC fighter that talks about this all the time, how they continue to test positive for a specific drug in their system, even though it's been years. One of the reasons is every time they go to weight cut, that's the only real time that they are being tested. Well, I shouldn't say that. They were tested other times during the year. This particular drug or chemical starts to be released from, or liberated is a better way to put it, from the adipose tissue. It's an interesting way to look at it, but now there are multiple UFC fighters that have been shown for this to actually be an issue. So we'll talk about one of the resolutions in just a moment. But in our practice, we're not necessarily looking for drugs. What we're looking for and we test for is heavy metals. And it's something that we see over and over, is that oftentimes people will do heavy metal detoxes. They'll do functional medicine detoxes. They'll lose 20, 30 pounds, and they'll actually see levels increase. Well, one of the reasons why the C levels increase is that it's been stored away for years in their fat tissue. Now they're losing the body fat and it's coming into the bloodstream. The good thing is, as long as you support your body, then you can excrete it properly through the body. But if the body, again, I'm going to go back to it, the interstitial milieu, it's really a naturopathic term. And it's probably goes back to more bioregulatory medicine in Europe. But what happens is the fluid that your cells sit in, if that is dirty, for lack of a better term, if there is inflammatory cytokines there, if there's already metals and toxins, etc., your body most likely isn't going to dump or want to dump more in there. And why this is important, and again, anyone could test this. So I don't ever want you to say, just trust blindly. You can run an environmental toxicity test. You can run the minerals and metals test for heavy metals. You could run the complete toxic heavy metals test, and you can run it through whoever you want. But you can specifically see these things in the body for all those people out there saying your liver automatically detoxes on your own. Absolutely. Your liver is literally helping you not to create sepsis in your body at every moment of the day. But that doesn't mean that it's flawless. That doesn't mean that there's no breakdown in phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. We know that specific nutrients help to increase the speed of detoxification. It's been known for a long time that N-acetylcysteine, sulforaphane, glutathione, the use of zinc and selenium, vitamin C, all of these things improve detoxification. That means the amount and the speed at which it's done. What else helps with that? Sauna. Abhyanga Ayurvedic massage has actually been shown to be helpful with that. So all of these are absolutely helpful. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing those up is that one of the way that you want to get around this stubborn fat that is not being released is to do the foundational work first. So maybe take a little bit longer, but then you're going to get the permanent results you're looking for. So what does that mean? It means that do and open up the liver detox and kidney detox and drainage pathways. So drainage is referring to more of the lymphatic system. I'm actually happy to see all of these fun little videos on social media now of people using a vibration plate, a vibroplate. They're using sauna. They're doing dry brushing. They're doing lymphatic-based massage. They're even just doing jump rope. They're doing anything to get that lymphatic system moving. I love that because it's one of the first steps. You need to mobilize the lymph because the lymph is going to flow and carry out the waste from the cells. And that, if you've never heard about the lymphatic system before, I've got a bunch of podcasts. I'm going to link them up today at episode 3659. So all the shows are always just at their number. So StephenCabral.com/3659. I'll link it up. I've got a bunch of different ways using a rebounder, a trampoline, vibration plate, all these different ways to get that lymphatic system moving. Okay. But that's great. But remember, they're going to be mobilized to the liver. So you still want to support your liver. The best way to do that is with a functional medicine detoxification. You can use the one by Equilife, but you don't have to. You can also work with your integrative health practitioner, your naturopathic doctor, and also use what their recommendations are. What I would love you to do is simply take a completely free course, literally free, at StephenCabral.com/courses. Click on the one that says detox. That is going to teach you about phase 1, phase 2 detoxification, the herbs, the vitamins, the minerals that are all used to give your liver literally the raw material it needs to fire up phase 1 detoxification, which takes fat-soluble toxins, right? So the same things that your body is getting from the environment, the hormones, and what's being released from the adipose tissue. It's going to take that through phase 1. It's going to break it down. It creates what's called an intermediary metabolite. Again, this is all physioscience. This is physiology-based science, and this is literally how the body works. So at that point, there's an intermediate metabolite. Why that's important is that you need to make sure that you have antioxidants so you don't create a greater amount of free radical damage in the body. Antioxidants are things like fruits and veggies, also vitamin C, vitamin E, etc. Okay, then it moves hopefully quickly to phase 2 detoxification in the liver. Phase 2 are your sulfur-based amino acids, things that come from like broccoli and cauliflower, all your cruciferous veggies, right? Garlic, etc. So those are amazing, and you can get them from things such as N-acetylcysteine, taurine, glutathione, etc. That's all. I mean, that's why like a functional medicine detox, it's starting to be understood better now because that's what your body's getting, right? Your body is getting the nutrients needed for phase 1, for intermediary metabolites, and for phase 2, so that your body can release these harmful chemicals from your body. I have a step-by-step plan at StephenCabral.com/detox, but I would much rather you take the free course, understand it, get the education, and then decide the best path for you. Because a sudden release of chemicals from the adipose tissue can create things like headaches or anxiety or skin rashes, rosacea, fatigue, or even worsening of hormonal-based symptoms. So if you've been losing weight and you've had an increase in those particular symptoms, it is very possible that it is what is coming with the breakdown of the fat tissue itself. Because your body is always preferring survival over everything else. So even though it necessarily doesn't want an extra 30 pounds of weight on its body, it is doing so because the alternative is potentially more harmful at this moment. But once we start to open up those drainage and detox pathways, which it does not cost a lot of money at all. Like you can just do a self-massage or dry brushing that's almost free. I mean, it really is. A good copper dry brush, something like that, almost basically free. You can move your body and exercise. That's a great way to move the lymphatic system as well. You can jump up and down or do jump rope if you want to. That's going to get the lymphatic system. A mini trampoline, you can find some very inexpensive ones as well. Then you're going to support the liver, support the kidneys with something like a functional medicine detox, which, you can look at a bunch of different brands. Doesn't cost too much more than food would cost, honestly. So it's pretty straightforward there. And that might be the breakthrough that a lot of people need in order to kickstart their body to burning body fat again, but in a clean and safe way. There's a reason why I call these the Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesday shows, is because it's always about wellness first. Your body will lose the weight. It will get back to its healthy weight, not your friend's healthy weight, right? Not your coworker, but a healthy weight for your body. That's ultimately what we're looking for. And in the process, the nice thing is this: when you do these things, you're reducing inflammation, you're improving your overall drainage and detox-based capacity, you're stabilizing hormones, and that does so much for your skin, your hair, your nails, your sleep. So there are many fringe benefits just besides the weight loss itself. So just remember, when you clean up the internal environment, your body lets go of what it was using for protection all along. Hopefully the show was helpful. Do feel free to share it with anyone you believe could serve. Take care, buddy. All the show notes, all the links will be at stephencabral.com/3659.